perhaps one of the biggest gets for the Miami Dolphins this offseason clearly was Tyreek Hill. But, as we move forward with this, I think it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of different things going on with this team that I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to. And that is our job right now, to be able to shine a light on it. That's what we love to do on this channel. We like to give a lot of praise and show a lot of the people, the players that we think could, and teams for that matter, that could definitely, shock the NFL, and plus to shine some light on some good players. And I think that is exactly what we're doing here today with the Miami Dolphins offense, which I think will shock the NFL. Now, there's a lot of different things, moving parts to this. Hopefully I don't talk too fast because my mom always said I wanted to be an auctioneer growing up, so let's get right to it. So we're going to start with just the basic offensive pieces. Okay, so let's start with the offensive personnel. Okay, Tua Tagovailoa. Sorry if I misspelled or anything, or you guys, I apologize. But we're going to move right forward. So last year with the Dolphins, Tua had over 2,600 passing yards, 16 touchdowns, and 10 picks. And then you can move over to Chase Edmonds, who comes over from the Cardinals, and we're going to get to the running back room of the Dolphins in just a second. But overall, Chase Edmonds might be one of the most complete backs in the NFL. I mean, just his catching ability, the way he runs the football. Yeah, there's a lot of different things going on, and that Chase Edmonds will bring for the Miami Dolphins backfield. But however, had nearly 600 rushing yards for the Cardinals last year, over 300 receiving yards. literally just a jack of all trades kind of a player. Had a couple of touchdowns for him as well. And then you go over to Tyreek Hill. I meant Tyreek Hill to be a wide receiver here. Well, oops. And that was two wide receivers. Okay, you guys bear with me for a second. That's supposed to be a wide receiver for Tyreek Hill, a guy that had over 100 catches last year for Kansas City. He's a stud. I mean, he was really the difference maker when we talk about all the different things. But overall, honestly, this is going to be a special season for the Miami Dolphins offense, and Tyreek Hill is going to be a big reason why. We saw what he did with the Chiefs. I think he's going to be the player that takes Tua Tagovailoa out of his shell. Now, before we go any further into that, I feel like Tua he's at this big impasse in his career. He's had a couple of okay seasons with the Dolphins. I know some of it was due to injuries, and I don't think necessarily the right leadership was in place. But I think with how big Tyreek Hill is going to be, he's in a similar spot as Teddy Bridgewater was a couple of years ago before he tore his ACL with the Vikings. Like everything was looking up. Teddy Bridgewater was balling out during the preseason. Like there was just so much going on. Then obviously tore his ACL, never was quite the same player, or didn't exactly build off of that. He's been a serviceable backup, absolutely, even a serviceable starter for that matter. But he was at a point where he was in a very important part in his career. Like this was it, and it just didn't come to fruition. Tua Tagovailoa is in a similar spot. Now, I do think if he doesn't do well this year, there's some different things you can do. I don't think you necessarily give completely up on him, but there's some things you got to look at. But Tua Tagovailoa, the writing is on the wall a little bit. It is, you have to produce with these kind of weapons, and I think I'm really excited about that. I think he can absolutely do it, especially because I think Tyreek Hill is the player that can help him do that. I mean, we're talking about a guy that was arguably the Chiefs, or one of the Chiefs' biggest weapons, and I'm so excited about that. So, we're talking about an offense that has the potential to be the best in the NFL, that it really just does pin on of how well Tua Tagovailoa plays. And if I'm not saying that right either, I apologize. But now we go down here to tight end Mike Gesicki. I mean, the man caught 73 passes for 783 yards and 2 touchdowns last year. I've loved what I've seen out of Mike Gesicki over the last couple of seasons. Kind of an underrated fantasy guy as well, as if you take a look at him. But then you go to Jalen Waddle. Oh baby, you loved it, coming out of Alabama, reuniting with Tua, for his rookie season, Tua second, I believe, or something like that. Had over 100 catches last year, 1,015 yards and 6 touchdowns with the Dolphins. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Tua and Jalen are going to be special in the NFL for a long time. But you talk about the different element that you have Jalen and a guy like Tyreek Hill, having 2 speedsters on the outside. That's huge. But that sets up the number 3, Cedric Wilson Jr. coming over from the Dallas Cowboys. In my mind, Cedric Wilson didn't get talked nearly enough about. I mean, he absolutely came alive for the Cowboys, and was a big player in that offense that did not get near the credit that he deserved, and that's why we're here to shed a light on it as well. So you talk about Cedric Wilson being that key number 3 wide receiver. He caught 45 passes last year for over 600 yards and 6 touchdowns in an offense with, what was it? It was crazy. CeeDee Lamb, all those guys, and it was, I mean, just the amount of weapons that they had, it was insane in Dallas. And now the fact that he's coming over to the Dolphins, where they have a similar amount of weapons in my mind, and I think it's going to be kind of a question as to if Tua can step up. But I think if that happens, If Tua plays like we know he can, he's got the ability to be a very good quarterback in this league. I think this Miami Dolphins offense is going to shock the NFL. But I did say we would also get to the Dolphins running back room. We'll quickly run over that. But, you take a look at Chase Edmonds, who's probably either going to be a starter or he's going to be a big part of this backfield. You talk about 592 rushing yards. We kind of touched on him, so we'll move on to Raheem Mostert. Did have a knee injury, a season-ending knee injury and surgery last year with the 49ers, and then obviously Elijah Mitchell stepped in and he did his thing. But then you talk about a guy like Sony Michel coming over from the Rams. I'm excited about Sony Michel. I think he's going to be a big reason. What was it, over 900 all-purpose yards last year, 5 touchdowns? Yeah, was that rushing or receiving? I can't remember. Maybe it was just rushing. At the end of the day, that's both. Anyway, the point is, Sony Michel, this is just a full, stable running back room. You're so excited about this. Then get Myles Gaskin back, had 7 total touchdowns last year. Like, this is a complete running back room. We're also going to make a video as to, what we see happening with the running back room of the NFL. It's changing forever, and the Dolphins are a great example. They've got 4 guys that could come in and start for basically any team. That's going to be a big part to this team's success. Having a running game that you can get things started. Also, the offensive line, we didn't even really touch on that, but I'm overall, I feel like the Dolphins are in a pretty special spot in their offensive line. Terran Armstead, going to start at that left tackle spot. Robert Jones coming over, Connor Williams, Robert Hunt at right guard, and then Liam Eichenberg. Is it Eichenberg or Eichenberg? Yeah, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, is that I feel like this offense has the potential in all phases to be special. The question is, will it be, and will Tua Tagovailoa take it to that next level with all of these weapons? But let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. If you guys like the video, I'd greatly appreciate that like. That's what helps people find the show. In the description down below, you'll find all of our social media platforms. If you would also give us a like and a follow there. And then finally, if you would also give us a listen and sub on iTunes, we'd greatly appreciate that as well. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put it in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about the Miami Dolphins offense, which will shock the NFL.